I'm damn it! Who's touching my damn things? Who the hell is touching Mickey Mouse's generators?
Why the f*** is Mickey Mouse such a player hater?
Hey Mickey, your theme parks suck!
What?
You know, I watched a horror, one of these previously, with Quinn, and we were sad because it was 4 stories where the dog saves the day, but here's the problem. In one of those, the dog chases off the attacker and is never seen again. So it's not known whether the dog lived or died from that ordeal, but the incident took place in the year of 1992. So yeah, that dog is more than likely passed away, but here's the hoping that that dog got, you know, to a good place and got to have treats and got belly rubs for the rest of his life, because that one dog did save that kid's life. He was like 6 or 7 years old, and then all of a sudden the guy tried to grab him, and then that dog chased him off. It was that, you see, I love animals. I really do. I love I love, you know, just being able to like connect with animals. There's one dog that I loved more than anything, and it was Bella. I told you about Bella. She was such a sweet dog, man. She was such a sweetheart. She was such...
I met her too.
Oh yeah, you did get the chance to meet her. Yeah, but you met her later in life, whenever, you know, life had worn her down. Back when she was
still a cool doggo.
Yeah. But when she was younger, man, she was all over the place. She was just... She loved to cuddle. That was the big thing. She'd like hop up on the bed, and she'd like lay like right beside you, and she'd like nuzzle up next to you, and you know, you'd scratch her head and everything, and she'd look up at you. Gosh, I
miss getting to hang out with Shorty.
Yeah, Shorty was fun chilling with Shorty. We actually talked about Shorty, me and Quinn did last time, because we were both talking about how Shorty was when he first showed up, and then how he mellowed out later on, and how he is now. By comparison to how he was when he first showed up, he is a much better animal, much better dog. He is very like responsive to like them saying no. He's very responsive to them, you know, basically, you know, bringing in new people. At first he's suspicious, but he doesn't try to attack them anymore. He doesn't try and put up that intimidation thing anymore. Instead, you know, after a while he'll like nuzzle up to him, and you know, everything will be good. I remember
so I think I've only seen him like the once since they moved out. Even though I hadn't seen him in like a week, like he was like, "Hey, what's up?" whenever he saw me, instead of barking at me. And so.
Yeah. Well, every time I go, he hears me through the microphone. Like whenever I like do stuff with Chad, he hears me through the microphone. And he's just like, "Where's Nate? Where's Nate? Where is he? I hear him. Where's he at?" And he like starts barking like, "Oh, where's Nate? Oh."
You tell Chad and Nikki to bring him by to visit sometime.
Absolutely.
Too.
Well, yeah. I would tell him to bring him up for like the Halloween thing, but I think, you know, too many new people will be here.
Probably.
But I think if we can get them to bring him up here one time, I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Dogs are fun. Dogs can be a lot of fun. And, well, dogs can also save lives, in which these are 3 horrifying stories where the dog saves the day, or saved the day. So here's to hoping that all the doggos in this live. I guess we're just going to have to see. So here we go. This is Mr. Nightmare. Let's get into it.
Dogs are called man's best friend for a reason. They will sacrifice themselves if it means saving the ones they love. Here are 3 horrifying stories that would have turned out tragic had a dog not been around. Number 3. I had to watch after my sister when my parents were out one night. I wouldn't be out anyway though. I was busy playing the current hit game that had just come out at the time. My dog Sheriff was laying next to me when he lifted his head up and his ears twitched. You know, that thing that dogs do when they hear something. I paused the game to see if I could hear what he was listening for. I didn't hear anything and lost interest, assuming it was someone walking their dog outside or something. Sheriff jumped off the bed and ran out the half-open door to the bedroom. He was barking, going crazy at something. I didn't care to follow him. I simply yelled at him to shut up. But eventually, his normal annoying barking suddenly turned crazed and defensive, as if he were confronting something, or someone. That's when I got suspicious and ran to go see what it was. I heard a sheriff's nails scrape the basement steps as he flew down the stairs. My heart sank as I realized he must have been chasing something. I found myself standing at the top of the basement steps for a whole minute, staring into the darkness below, gathering up the courage to go down there. I finally did, turning the light on the way down. Sheriff was standing by the door to the laundry room. I didn't even dream of opening that door. I trusted in him enough to believe that someone was in there. I struggled, but eventually picked him up and ran with him all the way back upstairs. As I was about to shut the light, I heard the sound of the laundry room door creaking open. At that instant, I slammed the basement door shut and locked it. I listened for a few moments with my ear against the door, and I could hear, barely over the sound of Sheriff barking, the sound of the steps squeaking. I dove for the phone and called the police. When they arrived, they caught him trying to bust out through the basement window. Me and my sister watched as the officers walked him out to the car, and I'll never forget the dreadful stare the man gave me as he was forced into the back seat of the police car. But I'll also never forget how grateful I was to have Sheriff with me that night.
I'll never forget the dreadful look that man gave me as he was being put in the back of the police car, and I'll never forget flipping him the bird as the cops forced his ass into the back seat.
Number 2. I used to have a Beagle Pointer mix before she passed away at the age of 11. Her name was Mandy, and she was the sweetest and most loyal dog a person could ask for. She would never harm a fly, but she did have a big troublemaking mouth. So the story goes, I was 15 years old, getting ready for sleep one night like any other night. Mandy slept in my room, and when I walked into my room, finally ready to crash in bed, I was greeted to Mandy growling. She wasn't looking at anything in particular. I playfully asked her what was wrong, and she just made an annoyed doggy sound before putting her head down. I found it funny. For the good hour of me rolling around trying to fall asleep, Mandy would constantly break the silence with growling. I would peek at her, but she would still have her head down. She showed no reaction to me offering to take her out, so I could check that off the list. It quickly went from cute and funny to just annoying, but I eventually fell asleep. I woke up to see that it was 2 a.m. and Mandy was growling. I tried to adjust my eyes in the dark, and I could eventually see Mandy standing in the middle of the room. She was looking up at my closet door. I felt my heart begin to race. What I was witnessing was flat out disturbing. I turned on the lamp and watched as Mandy continued to stare up at the elevated closet. I don't know what I was thinking, but I decided to open up the closet and check what she was barking at. I want to note right now I have one of those closets that lead to an attic. When I checked, there was nothing in the closet, but I noticed the attic door was cracked open. You can imagine the fear in my body as I ran to my parents' room to get my dad. He didn't seem to take me too seriously until he got to my room and saw Mandy growling and looking up in my closet. My dad is a big guy, so he went in there without a weapon. I sat there, worried for what was to come next. What came next was my dad screaming at the top of his lungs at somebody. I heard boxes fall over and glass shatter as my dad moaned in apparent pain. Somebody was rushing out of the closet. I hoped it was my dad, but instead, some 6'5" man with a hammer in his hand jumped out from the closet and passed me. What happened next still surprises everyone. Mandy jumped up and grabbed a hold of the man's arm with her teeth. The scream of the unfamiliar voice filled the room. My dad came rushing out of the closet just in time to jump onto the intruder, taking him down. He sent my mom to fetch my little brother's prop handcuffs. My dad held him down while I handcuffed him. Thankfully, he was sent to jail. I don't know what his intentions were, but obviously if he had a hammer with him, he probably wasn't just planning on robbing us. If we didn't have Mandy at that time, I could only imagine what would have happened to our family. Number 1.
I don't know, like, that one, I've heard one similar, very similar, like elevated closet and everything. I've heard a very similar story to that. I don't know if they, like, changed up certain details about, like, the hammer or, like, the prop handcuffs. That one, I'm like, if anything, I'd get, like a wire or an extension cable, something to tie the guy up. You know, because, I don't know, prop handcuffs are not that dependable.
I was only 11 years old, and my brother was only 8. We were walking our dog Buster around the block in the dark. Buster was a husky German Shepherd mix. Upon turning the corner to the other side of the block, we ran into a tall man who greeted us with a smile. He stopped in his tracks and seemed to expect us to as well. It seemed he was trying to start a conversation, but we just kept walking past. My brother kept looking back, telling me that the man was following us. He was right. Each time I turned around, the man was the same distance from us, but he would stop looking whenever we looked. I motioned to my brother to walk faster. The faster we started to walk, it seemed the closer he got to us. We were approaching our house, but my heart stopped when I heard the muffled scream of my brother as he was grabbed and pulled away. Buster started barking like a rabid dog, and I shit you not, pulled the leash out of my hands and sunk his teeth into the man's leg. I could see the blood dripping down his leg as his screams caught the attention of the people inside their houses. Our neighbor came outside, and we explained everything while pointing at the man. The man began hopping away. I had to put the leash back on Buster to keep him from chasing him. My neighbor called the cops. She was a tiny little woman. She couldn't do anything to that guy even if she tried. She then walked to our door and told our parents what happened. Police came to question us and the neighbor. They caught the man limping down a sidewalk a few blocks over shortly after. One of the cops told us our dog was a hero, but we already knew that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so
Good doggos.
all the dogs lived in this one. Yay! All the dogs are okay, so... Well, not okay, but they made it through that situation. So yeah, that one was those were good stories. I'm glad that, you know, everyone made it through okay, and the bad people got punished. So yeah, but again, that's the whole thing. I mean, you know, even if you are in a secure community, or, you know, you're in a good place where there's not that much crime, you know, you still need to protect yourself, because, you know, all it takes is one time. That's the thing. That's all it takes, one time. And basically, you know, everything can go bad. I hate that that's a reality, but I said this in the video I was in with Quinn. I don't take the world how I want it to be. I take the world as it is. And I have people out there that I trust, but majority of the world, nah. Majority of the world, I don't trust. Anyway, so yeah, those were 3 horrifying stories where the dog saved the day. Good dogs, all around. Thank y'all for tuning in, and if you want to check out more from Mr. Nightmare, feel free to click his name in the title of the video. If you want to see more from us, feel free to check out our Discord. Feel free to head over to our gaming channel, and also don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, I'm Nate.
I am Nick.
We'll see you then, everybody. Peace out.